A pleasure to meet all at last. And now, onwards to the sequel of Hot Wheels Unleashed. This, of course, will revolve around Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged as part of episode 2571. While, of course, a good majority of the rest of the series will be dedicated to a majority of other games. So, here we go. As previously discussed, Hot Wheels Unleashed is in fact a unique and amazing new turnaround to the Hot Wheels video game series. Milestone was able to go well above and beyond and create something fresh, yet still retaining the unique feel of Hot Wheels racing. And the thing is, who would have thought that it would be so popular that it would actually get a sequel? One that would not only expand upon the idea of Milestone's unique ingenuity and creativity when it came to creating their own Hot Wheels related racing game, but also add newer elements to it at the same time, plus loads of DLCs, including some free packs depending on which version of the game you got. Being that this was a 2023 release as opposed to October 2021, with the first game only 2 years, came around to a good amount of time to where eventually a whole new game could be brought onto the world and it would be a whole different story. This time, however, an actual story-driven based game. Unlike with the first game in which that it was just set upon the idea of adventure and defeating bosses and whatnot, here you actually follow a small group of Hot Wheels drivers. And I will say that when in contribution to Hot Wheels related media with actual characters involved, characters that are in fact meant to act sort of like mascots or advertisement figures of the Hot Wheels toy brand itself, I will say that in comparison to what we had gotten from, let's say, Battle Force or Highway 35 or Acceleracers or even Velocity X, this brand new crew of racers, scientists, and even a robot, I'd say the adventure that they tackle alongside the regular players like ourselves, even myself, having played Hot Wheels Unleashed Part 2 by the start of 2024, I will say that the story itself was pretty unique. And I won't say that while the characters are all too original for what they probably are a bit average considering what they are, but I do like what they are able to accomplish through the entirety of the story. The main gist is that you have several different threats to Hot Wheels City and you must stop them. Much like with the first game, they are little more than just the same sort of stuff that we had seen before. However, unlike with the original, in which that it basically just set you up with simple racing or time attack based gameplay, in this instance, Turbocharged simply subjects you to boss battles with some unique background themes, as well as the destruction of obstacles in the way. Basically, the main goal of defeating each boss in the game is to have their rage filtered down. If it builds up too high, then it could cause total annihilation to you and anyone else around. So the main gist is to prevent them from becoming too enraged by calming them down and eventually exhausting them to the point where, well, they're defeated. The fact that it goes on through all of the boss levels doesn't entirely show anything all that much exciting, simply because it's the same exact thing and there's a certain monotony feel that you might get out of it with all the bosses involved, even a giant scorpion. But you know what though? I will say that most other things more than make up for it. Because while Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 didn't ultimately have as much car variety as even I would have expected, or that long of gameplay entirely, here in Turbocharged they were able to fix all those problems. They were able to make the gameplay a bit longer for what it is, have some extras put in, and even give you the opportunity to go outside of the maps with some DLCs, including, believe it or not, the Accelodrome from Acceleracers. And this basically is a good segue to bring up the biggest piece that I ever possibly could have to say here. Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged does one thing so well: the variety of cars. It's not just what we had gotten in the past game. I mean, here we have even more of a variety. Models that are even rarer in contribution to what the first game was given. They were able to make the budget a bit higher with the sequel. Not only add a bigger story to it with actual characters that you follow around and accomplish different missions, but the cars they add here, plus the new maps and DLC packs that they add here, are unbelievable. Acceleracers and Highway 35 are in this game. Like, this more than exceeds a lot of my own expectations. Something I never saw coming. I mean, even in the original trailer they made in 2023, it more than blew my mind. And the idea that Dior 2, with its original Wave Rippers paint scheme, was actually implemented in the game itself, and upon looking closer into the game itself, once I got a hold of the copy, I was more than surprised. They were actually able to fit in not only Dior 2, but they also brought along other Highway 35 racers, like Ballistic. And when it comes to Acceleracers, almost the entirety of the show's cars, 36 models in total, were implemented in the game itself. And I will have to say that some of the best models that I got from the Acceleracers line, like Battle Spec, Rolling Thunder, and Carbide, are in this game. Just unbelievable. That alone makes me want to give this a high score, by all accounts. And some are probably wondering what I would have to say about Hot Wheels Unleashed score. Well, it's a solid 7.0 out of 10.1. A bit bittersweet, because so many years had passed that I almost lost hope in the idea of a brand new Hot Wheels game. But knowing Mattel, I do hope that they can do even better. But with the sequel, I am hoping that even more can come out of it. And even the upcoming film about Hot Wheels itself. So, in all seriousness, with the mystery box still being implemented, as well as the track builder, combined with all the other elements that I previously discussed with the first game, Turbocharged actually does retain some of the same exact charm, likability, and enjoyability as the first game did. But having newer elements, plus an even bigger variety of cars, and of course, a killer soundtrack. You know, there's so much more out of the sequel than we could have ever anticipated. But what really kicks it up a notch was the fact that they thought to include Highway 35 and Acceleracers. I'm not just talking about the cars either. The Accelodrome is in the game too. I mean, it probably would have been a unique idea for them to try any of the racing realms from Acceleracers or even the legs of the world race. Maybe a DLC could probably implement that sort of idea, but we'd have to wait and see what Mattel would think about it. Or even Milestone. Whatever the case may be though, I'm more than glad that they were able to do so much more with the sequel. Maybe a Hot Wheels Unleashed 3 could possibly see its way into the works. Even if it doesn't, we'll always have two games worth talking about here. And you know what? I'd say this is a good point to end things on, because with all that implies, I'd say I made a great playthrough on the game itself, having collected a lot of fantastic models. I mean, having such classics in there like Super Tsunami, What 42, Maelstrom, and El Superfasto, those, for instance, are probably some of the best that I had put together. But with Dior 2, Rolling Thunder, and other such that came from the two continuities that I've enjoyed the most regarding Hot Wheels media, that really is something different. Probably even for the better. But hey, the scoring that we'll have to give for Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 is in fact 9.0. So a full 2.0 higher compared to the first game. And much like how Sonic the Hedgehog had gotten a pretty good score at first, but then did way better in the second film, and with the third film, we certainly saw something a lot more enticing. I'm more than excited to see if there could be even the slightest possibility of a Hot Wheels Unleashed Part 3. Even if that doesn't happen, like I said, 2 games relating to Hot Wheels will always be an amazing turnaround to the franchise itself. And I'm more than excited about what the upcoming Hot Wheels film would have to show us. However, some are probably debating, could it be the 5th and final installment to Acceleracers we've been hoping for, since that show ended up getting abruptly shut down? Or could it be something original, as with some things that we have gotten in recent years? Who really knows? And who really gives? So, in any case, thank you very much for watching this piece, and I'll probably try something else for tomorrow. But, as always, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, follow me wherever you can find me, and stay on the Hollywood side for more.